Victoria. I want to tell you by my own example that nothing happens in life without a trace. Psychological traumas, received in childhood from close people, necessarily influence any person, and he remembers them, even becoming an adult and independent in all respects. Recently, my colleague Alia and I were returning from a business trip. We boarded the train, had refreshments, and I wanted to go to bed, but Alia really wanted to talk. I decided not to hurt her feelings and to listen. I understand perfectly well that sometimes a person just needs to share their frustrations with someone. Then the person will feel better. Can you imagine? I had another quarrel with my sister. We're kind of family, but we live like cats and dogs. We live very close to each other, but sometimes we don't see each other for half a year, and we don't even call each other. It hurts me so much because of this. After all, life goes by, and we act like this. Have you tried to fix things between you two? Of course I did. But it only lasts about 3 months. My sister's always demanding that I help her with everything. But I have a family of my own, a husband, children. They also need me. I cannot always help my sister, and she always resents me for it, and constantly arranges terrible scandals. Her husband is constantly instigating, and she obeys him in everything. My sister started resenting me a long time ago. Because of my parents' apartment. Our parents left it to me. But my parents bought Masha a nice separate apartment. But that wasn't enough for her. She also wanted a share of her parents' apartment. But I turned her down. Since then, we quarreled so often. Alia told me her sad story. I sympathized with her, and we went to bed. I couldn't sleep for a long time. I remembered my situation with my brother. We had always had a bad relationship with him. I always felt that my parents loved him more than me. I resented them a lot because of that. I wanted my parents to love me so much too. So I tried to do the best I could. I hoped that my parents would appreciate it and praise me. But I was not very good at it. One summer we went to the country house. My father was at work. We had a very beautiful German Shepherd dog, big, strong and very smart. I was 7 years old at the time, and I asked my mother's permission to play with the watchdog. But my mother wouldn't let me. I was very offended at her. Now, of course, I understand that my mother was just worried about me, afraid that the watch would hurt me in some way. But I was very hurt at the time. And Lesha was allowed by my mom to play with the dog. I cried and asked him, "Lesha, why can't I play with our dog? But you are not our family. Your parents took you from an orphanage as a little girl." With a malicious and spiteful smile, my older brother told me, "That's why you're not allowed to do everything they let me do." I ran away from my brother in tears. I will remember his words for a long time. I didn't say anything to my parents. I remembered many times when I was not allowed to do something, and Lesha was allowed to do it. And I was nothing like my parents, neither my dad nor my mom. In general, I suffered and suffered in silence. I cried a lot, and became very nervous. I even got sick more often. And then accidentally my parents found out about everything. Just when my mother once again forbade me to do something, I could not stand it, cried and told my parents all that I thought about them. I told them that I knew everything. Even that they were not my parents, that they adopted me. My parents couldn't understand why I thought they adopted me. Then I told my father everything. He took an album of old photographs out of the closet and showed me a picture of my grandmother. I looked a lot like her. "This is your grandmother Masha. She passed away a long time ago. I wasn't even married to your mom then. Do you see how much you look like her? Your own daughter. No one adopted you." Then my father had an educational conversation with Lesha. Both my parents and brothers started treating me a little better. But I still have those feelings in my soul that I had back then, when I thought I was adopted, and that no one wanted me. That's probably why I left my parents' home and became independent as soon as I graduated from high school. Childhood resentment made me stronger and helped me achieve a lot in life. I wanted to prove to everyone, especially to myself, that I was strong and could handle all difficulties. Nothing comes without consequences. Disgruntled feelings remain in a child's memory for a long time and have a great impact on later life. A person remembers all his life what he was hurt and wounded in his childhood. Why my brother did this to me, I do not know until now. Something made me so sad about all those memories. I felt that I miss my parents very much. Tomorrow I will go to visit them. I'll buy some presents and go.